Collaboration, low collaboration when it comes to accountability. The idea that time zone misalignment, the idea that infrequent communication is a problem. We can improve some of these with things like a team working agreement, a TWA. We can improve this with a Scrum of Scrum implementation, right? So let's look a little bit there and understand what I mean by those items, right? So when we talk about a Scrum of Scrums, we're talking about the idea that you can have a group of Scrum teams come together at a particular time of their region that is friendly to that area. You can have another group of teams, meaning a Scrum of Scrums, that is happening in another part of the world at a different time that is friendly to them. And then the Scrum of Scrums is this concept of the teams coming together with representatives from these individuals and these individuals at a time that is neutral to them. And it allows them to have participation in such a way that no one is really taking a big burden when it comes to their time zone. So it allows for this to happen on a more periodic basis. In a remote setting, a daily scaled daily Scrum is a big benefit. This is one of the practices that is in the Scrum at Scale framework, where the teams meet on a daily basis, not just for their, what we sometimes call the daily stand-up, or more properly called the daily Scrum, but they also come together during the Scale Daily Scrum. That is the Scrum of Scrums meeting once a day for 15 minutes to align on those elements important to the teams. If you do it in such a way that is a 15-minute meeting for any one of these individuals, it could happen on a daily basis, allowing for that frequency of communication to increase. Okay. Logistics tend to be some of the more frequent questions that I get. How do we deal with difficult schedulings, and the fact that we have longer events, the fact that we have unclear meeting logistics, time zones, things of that nature. Here are a few bullets to help with that. Choosing time zone friendly hours so we can all share the pain is it's expected at this point. Schedule the events on cadence and make sure that they are scheduled ahead. I should know where we're going to be meeting or how we're going to be meeting for our next sprint planning session, and maybe even the next one after that, right? So give me the opportunity to be able to plan my schedule by giving me head notice. The Scrum per region, we cover that. And consolidating events. A lot of teams are starting to consolidate some of their events so that things like the sprint review, for example, it's happening immediately before they have their Scrum of Scrum. So now that we are together, the retrospective, now that we are together, those individuals that are going to be taking part in the retrospective, please stay in the virtual room and let's go right into the next session to maximize everybody's attendance in such a way that reduces the burden of reattendance, right? Just keep an eye on the longevity of the meeting. It is intended to reduce time, not to increase it, right? And of course, share the details ahead. We as coaches have grown a little comfortable with everybody understanding what these events are for. And sometimes individuals don't quite always know what that is, especially during the sprint review, for example, if we have stakeholders attending. So send the information ahead, encourage individuals to share a customized agenda for the different events. Of course, you won't do that for the daily scrum, but wherever it makes sense, try to share the information ahead in such a way that gives the team an understanding on what we will be discussing during the specific meetings that might be ahead. Okay. Other aspects on the logistics side that are important. Make sure that we are posting a time box agenda and that we're keeping that time box during the events. Nothing more discouraging than having individual team members expect to be in a meeting for 30 minutes and it's an hour and a half later, and we're still having a discussion. So, as a coach, make sure that you are coaching the individuals, in particular the Scrum Masters, if you are in a Scrum environment, to keeping the time box in such a way that allows us to have the events as planned without false expectations there. Okay.